Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Michael Bartlett. I am a metaphysical astrologer. I do a monthly forecast for free. This is my condensed version. I do a more extended version for my Patreon clients. I want to welcome you and thank you for joining me. If you like what you're hearing and seeing here today, please hit like, share with your friends. If you have any comments, please leave them. And if you have any questions, please leave them. I'm happy to answer any questions and maybe follow up with anything that you need. So I'm going to be reviewing September, for the month of September, just the shortened version. On the 2nd of September, we had a opposition of Mars to Pluto. Mars is going to want to get things done in Virgo. Neptune in Pisces is really not all that interested in it. Neptune's going to be kind of like wanting to kick back, do some spirituality, maybe some meditation, whereas Mars is going to be going around the home, getting things done or at work. And so this is a time when it's really easy for individuals to point the fingers at others, saying you're the one being lazy, not taking care of details, or on the other side saying, hey, you need to kind of like unplug for a little bit and take care of yourself. On the 10th of September, we have a change for the lovely Venus, who has been in her rulership of Libra for the last little while. She's now going to be moving into the sign of Scorpio, where of course the moon has just entered earlier that day. So expect, things to be a little bit more moody, maybe on the 10th of September, changing from a little more of an aloof sort of a sense of looking at things to kind of maybe getting stuck in some things. Libra likes things all pretty and beautiful. Scorpio knows that that sometimes you have to walk through the valley of death. So it's that kind of a change in perspective and understanding. So what comes up for you. You also might be feeling some things or remembering some things that you haven't processed that you really need to work on. And it's time to and bring those out to the light. On the 14th of September, Mars is moving out of the busy sign of Virgo and also, well, moving into where Venus was before, into the more debonair place of Libra. Of course, Mars doesn't really do well in the sign of Libra. When you think about it, Mars is a ruler of Aries, which is really kind of a single-pointed determination about how to go about doing things. But in Libra, Mars has to actually consider that there's something else that has to come up. So we say Mars is in detriment when it's in Libra because it's in the opposite sign, in the sign opposite its rulership. This sometimes poses, Mars doesn't like to kind of have to, when it gets to a fork in the road, it doesn't want a fork in the road. It just wants to go straight ahead. So when there's a fork in the road, to have to stop and consider things isn't really the natural nature for Mars. But it is really good because it gives us the opportunity to consider things for a little bit and maybe not be so run off with our passions, so to speak, but maybe consider our options before we decide what we're going to do. See, Mars is holding the scale, the sign for Libra. The only inanimate sign in the zodiac, by the way, is Libra, the place of taking a pause. So in this place, it's best if Mars just takes a moment, considers his options, and moves forward. On the 17th of September, we have Venus in Scorpio in a third quarter square to Saturn in Aquarius. This is kind of an opportunity for maybe some things to be brought to light about what's going on with humanity, what's going on with our values. How is it that we want to stay safe in our own little private, office or sanctuary, so to speak, or our little Scorpio hole, and versus going out there and doing the right thing, taking responsibility for our actions, helping to do the right thing to help others, and to create a larger space. Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius, so he is quite in his home here and really kind of knows what right human relationship is all about. Venus and Scorpio seeking for it, experiencing a lot of crappy experiences, right? Venus has to walk through the valley of death, like we were talking about, so these are like spurned lovers when it's Venus. These are, problems we've had in the past, and, kind of how do we resolve them in our values? Who are we holding on to in our life that maybe we need to let go in our relationship with others? On the 20th of September, we have the sun in Virgo and the moon in Pisces, which means that we have a full moon. Great time to to really kind of fully see what's going on. A lot of focus on these, a lot of dualities going on, a lot of polarity going on this month of working on things. So each time, remember when we see these things are oppositions, right? Full moon is an opposition. These are opposite signs from one another. So when you think about sitting at a table, the person sitting opposite from you, exactly opposite from you, so easy to see. So it's easy to point your finger at someone opposite from you and say, you're the fault. But remember, we've got 3 fingers pointing back at ourselves every time we point at someone else. And so in these places of oppositions, we have to understand the reason partly why we're seeing these things in the other person is because we have these issues within ourselves. And how do we deal with them? How do we work with them in a way that it integrates it and doesn't denigrate or vilify another person, but allows us each to have our experience of being in the process of becoming the masterpieces we are here to be. The 22nd of September is fall equinox. Very similar in a sense, to the spring equinox, but just opposite. So, rather than getting ready for the opening and the becoming of spring, this is now getting ready for winter, seeing that things we're letting go of things. The harvest is occurring in many places here in the Northern Hemisphere, and the sun moves into the sign of Libra. Again, another place of pause, another place of consideration. So, I think we should start seeing a lot of these energies kind of calming down, so to speak, for some review. On the 22nd of September, we have Mercury in Libra squaring Pluto in Capricorn. This might be the time to be discussing the things that aren't working in your relationships, at work, at home, in your neighborhood, anywhere you think, what are the things that aren't being said? This is a time when things are going to be coming up. This is another third quarter. We're having all these oppositions and third quarter experiences. So third quarter is crisis in consciousness. I didn't know that I didn't know. And what they say in law is ignorance of the law doesn't make you any less guilty. So it's really important to pay attention to what the right things are of doing things and making sure that you're taking care of it and addressing them so that these things don't have to continue. On the 27th of September, we have our third and final Mercury retrograde for the year. He's gone through each of the air signs this year, which I believe is a real strong statement to the energies of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in air signs. It started off in December last year, starting us off on a new way of experiencing the world. So this is a time again of taking a pause, considering our options. Unless you have a retrograde Mercury in your natal chart, this is not the time to finalize anything. It's the time to do research. It's time to do understanding of things. If you're entering into any kind of agreement or entering any kind of relationship with another person and you don't know that much about them and something's telling you that something's up, do some research. This is the time to do it. Say, hey, you know what? I don't need to answer this right now. I can't make this, I can't accept this or agree to this right now. So let me consider it and I'll get back to you. That's what retrograde periods are all about. Finally, on the 30th of September, we have Venus in a third quarter square to Jupiter in Aquarius, from Scorpio to Aquarius. This is a great time to maybe, in the sense of like what are our resources? Those individuals who have the means to be able to help other people, are you doing it? Are you volunteering your time? Are you giving of your excess money that you don't need? A lot of people have gained an incredible amount of wealth during this pandemic period. There are individuals who are losing their homes, losing so much of their lives, while other people are gaining hands over fist, incredible amounts of money. So how do we balance this out? How do we change our values? How do we share some of those things that we've inherited? When you think about Venus and Scorpio, maybe those things we've inherited can also be the value systems we've inherited, right? And how do we allow for understanding that, just because someone's lost their job or because they got sick and became homeless or have lost their things, it doesn't make them a bad person. It's just an experience that they're going through. And how do we offer them the opportunity to come back and to step back up to the plate and be supported in ways that allows everyone to have their dignity and their humanity. Very excited to announce that my updated, newly expanded and revised Astrological Mavericks book is available on Kindle, Apple ebook, and can also be from your local bookstore or online bookstore. You can use the ISBN if you want a print copy. The Kindle and the electronic copy are $9.99. The print copy is $49.99. It's 1,032 pages for the print issue. It's a phenomenal resource if you are wanting to understand astrological archetypes, and also to understand what happens when people have planets on the angles, or even people have planets in the same sign as their angles or as your angles. Really welcome you to enjoy it. It's a really fun book. I'm also going to be teaching a class with a workshop, a free webinar actually in Kepler for Kepler College, and then an experiential workshop at the end of October. So please visit my website, and you'll see that under upcoming talks. And very excited for that. Also, of course, I am a professional astrologer, so I offer readings, speaking engagements, talks. Like I said, I'll be talking for Kepler College, so I hope you tune in. Please feel free to visit my website, coremichael.com. And I want to do a shout out to Christine Cianci, who made the beautiful Astro Theater imagery that I used in this talk today. Thank you so much for joining me, and wishing you a wonderful September. All the best. Happy Labor Day.